we're Amber and Tanner in the morning, and we're here again to do another Wine with Ben and Tracey. It's so good to see you guys again.
We're so happy to be here.
It's great. Yeah, you can see we haven't done this in a while. Usually I let Tracey go first. It's great to see you guys too. And it's always a pleasure when we're hanging out, and we love these morning meetings because we know it's an excuse to pop some bottles and enjoy some great food.
That's so great. So remind the audience or remind everyone exactly what you guys do.
Go for it, Benji.
All right. So my name's Ben Fine. I'm a wine educator for Jackson Family Wines. And usually my role is I spend a large chunk of my time with business partners, anyone from restaurant owners to celebrities like Amber and Tanner. And I get them out in vineyards. We go, depending on what they're looking to do, I do a lot of education, spend a lot of time in vineyards and wineries. And now with everything that's changed the last year, I've been doing a lot of educational content from home, a lot of podcasts, videos, but it's great. I get to be around wine and people involved in the industry. What about you, Chef?
Yeah, there you just said it. Tracey Chinami, and I am the chef for La Crema Winery and cheese specialist for Jackson Family Wines. So I get to wear a couple hats, and my job is as glamorous as it sounds. I get to drink wine and eat food.
Yum!
Sounds like the best job ever.
Sounds like
it
my
really
Saturday
is.
night.
I mean, it's a good gig. It's a good gig.
Yeah.
Bye.
And I know that you guys have a special going on with Valentine's Day. Is that correct?
We do.
Yeah, with your wine store, which we've promoted with you guys in the past. We've had a lot of success, and it's cold. Valentine's Day around the corner. Those are both excuses to get some wine back home. So we are offering a promotion, and it's all caps. It's Love Wine, LOVEWINE, and you're gonna get 20% off. And I was just checking out the website, looking at some updates, and we have brand new releases. I mean, for example, this rosé that we're going to get into, this will be the first time I've had it. So it's pretty cool. If you're part of this, it's sort of like you're on the wine club because you're getting the 20% discount and you're getting wines that literally no one has had yet. They just got released. Pretty cool.
Yeah. So this is on yourwinestore.com, and it's essentially a platform to get all sorts of Jackson Family wines. So you can get La Crema, Kendall Jackson. I mean, we have so many different brands, over 50 different brands. So it's an opportunity all in one spot to be able to try multiple brands and varietals of wines.
Okay, so again, that's yourwinestore.com, promo code LOVEWINE, all caps. It's all one word?
Yes.
Yes.
Great. Okay. Well, that's so exciting. I hope that everyone gets to try the wines that we have here today. It looks like you guys have delivered to us 3. I'm really excited, particularly for the rosé, but what do you guys want to get started with?
Well, yeah, rosé, but when you say rosé, are you talking bubbly rosé or the
both,
rosé?
honestly.
We have options.
I would say
bubbly.
Why don't we, we're back together. Why don't we start with a good reason to pour this and cheers?
Start off with some bubbles.
Woo!
That's the best way to start your day, with some bubbles.
We have here La Crema, Russian River Valley Brut Rosé.
That's right.
Oh, I love that. Brut Rosé.
So this is actually which you don't really see. It's an estate sparkling wine, meaning all the fruit came from Sara Lee's vineyard, the vineyard that is at our property, which we're going to get you guys to. I know we keep talking about it, and it's pretty cool. So it's mostly Pinot Noir, but Chardonnay fruit as well. And it's always breakfast of champions, but especially when you're talking Valentine's Day. Why don't we let's get a quick cheers in.
Well, cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess
I would start off with wine.
Yeah, and I mean, we wanted to try this because it doesn't matter if you're spending Valentine's Day by yourself, with someone. Sparkling wine is always fun to celebrate. There's nothing wrong with starting early in the day with it. You could be by yourself, drawing a bath, you have it, celebrating with someone else, whoever. I'll be cheersing with my puppy, there's no bad reason to pop sparkling.
Ben, I'm going to be drinking this by my lonesome on Valentine's Day too, watching a movie, Netflix, eating some chocolate. This is great.
Yeah, awesome.
Sparkling is an anytime wine.
Yeah.
Yeah. 5 in the morning wine.
Yeah.
And I mean,
great, guys.
I'm happy we started with this wine. This is a perfect way to start this.
Yeah.
always start and end with sparkling, and you probably good things happen in between.
I was just going to say exactly that. I know a lot of people start off with sparkling, which I do too, but I also like to finish with sparkling.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
wash it all down.
Exactly. It's a palate cleanser. It goes with so many different cuisines, but some things it does really well with. And Tracey, what would you recommend this with?
I mean, since we're talking about Valentine's Day, a little bit too, I mean, and it doesn't have to be Valentine's Day, but oysters and sparkling are there. That's where it's at, right? Like,
oh yeah.
Think about when you're eating an oyster, right? They're crisp, they're refreshing. They've got this great salinity. They're meant to be eaten again, like they're kind of the beginning of the meal, tempting your palate. And that's what sparkling wine is doing for you too. And especially with this Brut Rosé, it's just got this beautiful crispness to it. That's just wonderful with oysters. Put a little mignonette on there with some pink peppercorn. You're good to go.
I'm just imagining, I wish there was like a whole pile of oysters next to us right now, because I would be here all day. It would be a problem.
Well,
the oysters probably wouldn't travel well. That's what we heard.
Yeah.
You guys wanted to send it to us.
We'll get them to you on ice, and maybe when the sun's back out, we can do like what's a pair when you're outside. So maybe we can make it happen.
Definitely. Yeah. Well, and there's some great, like, of the positives that have come from this experience in the past year. At least one of the things that I've seen is that a lot of companies that wouldn't normally be shipping things are, and Hog Island Oyster Company is one of them. Normally you have to go there to buy them or be of a business like us to purchase them, but they're a great local oyster company right on the coast.
Awesome.
And they're doing like an oyster of the month club. They're doing shipping. So there's a lot of things that are available to us now that maybe weren't available to us before. So take advantage of those kinds of things that are going on right now. Get some oysters from Hog Island and get some of the rosé, and you will be happy. It doesn't matter if it's Valentine's Day.
So we have this sparkling rosé in front of us. What would you recommend pairing this with?
Besides the oysters.
Besides the oysters.
Oh, besides the oysters. I mean, I do love sparkling, like we said at the beginning of a meal. So something like a cheese platter would be great with that. And then, other things that I like with champagne are kind of lighter, brighter foods. So, if you have something like crab dip or things like that would be really
cool.
Yeah.
And I'm speaking to Tanner here. And people that are going to be in the boat like Tanner and I, sparkling does really well with salty food. So if there's some junk foods too that it does well, right? I mean, we think of it, it does so great with light foods and really decadent
French
foods.
fries.
Exactly.
French fries.
Oh yeah.
So whatever vibe you're feeling, sparkling.
French fries, caviar. If you happen to be feeling a little bit luxurious, put some caviar on a potato chip.
What?
Caviar on a potato chip with some sparkling wine. Mind blown.
My mind is exploding.
I've never had caviar. Have you?
Yeah, I have, but never on a potato chip. That sounds amazing.
Game changer.
It's my favorite way to eat caviar. It's kind of like highbrow, lowbrow.
Yeah.
It's but it's so good. Like, and you know what? And I've made my own potato chips, and they're good. But quite honestly, like a good old fashioned Ruffles with ridges.
Yeah.
Up of like sour cream and creme fraiche and caviar, and then wash that down with some bubbly.
Yeah. Just call them.
A woman after our own hearts.
Right.
Tracy.
You just got to call that person and be like, okay, I'm bringing the chips. You bring the caviar. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. But like I said, if you're not willing to go to the caviar route, get some French fries and some aioli, like a good garlicky mayonnaise.
Yeah.
That is killer with sparkling wine.
Yeah.
And like Ben said, it's definitely the salt, right? Like we all want salt. And it's the reason you eat foods like that, like popcorn. Popcorn's another really great one with champagne or bubbly, because it's got that salty, right? That salt on your palate. And then it's kind of washed down with this really bright, like, really, effervescent wine. It's like you go back and forth, right? And you want to stop.
Total underappreciated movie wine, sparkling. For
Definitely.
Sure.
Definitely.
So note to self, I'm going to start bringing Ruffles with me everywhere.
Right? Just in case somebody has some caviar.
Yeah, casually.
Tanner's just dipping his chips into random people's caviars.
Trust me, it's
Don't
a good
mind
pairing.
me. Right. You open up your jacket and you've got like a little snack pack.
decades.
Yeah.
The good.
Funny.
Should we move?
So what do you
to
guys
the-
think about this wine? How are you enjoying it?
10 out of 10 for me. It's delicious.
I love it. I could drink this all day.
As you see, I poured myself a pretty hefty glass. It was hefty. Now it's lower than it was originally.
after all your research.
Right?
Yeah.
This sparkling rosé is the
Yes.
definition of rosé all day.
Yeah, completely, completely, without a doubt.
Yeah.
All right, what's
Good.
next?
And just real quick, I want to say too, I think a lot of people may not know that La Crema makes sparkling wine. It's fairly new to us, right, Ben? I mean, it's probably been about 3 years now, although that seems like time has flown by. But it is, that's in the newer realm for La Crema. And so I think that most people that know La Crema know that La Crema is known for Chardonnay and Pinot Noir, and they may not know that La Crema is known for sparkling wine. So I think it's a really fun addition. And just as a side note, where you're not tasting it today, maybe next time, but La Crema's also recently come out with a Sauvignon Blanc.
Woo!
Yeah.
Can't wait.
So lots of great.
So
Next time, we'll send you with that.
Yeah, that'll go with
Yeah.
that'll go with the oysters. But I mean, that's another reason to jump on your wine store and use that Love Wine discount, because guess what?
Yes.
As we know, places are opening. You think once people hear that and they get to La Crema, they're not going to go look for the Sauv Blanc and the bubbles. They are. So you want to purchase it now because we only have so much of that sparkling.
Yeah,
Like I said,
limited
it's limited
production.
wine. Yeah.
Definitely
Wow.
limited production, so jump on that.
Yeah, get your hands on it.
Yeah, we're going to go to yourwinestore.com after this and get a couple of bottles. So if we don't buy it all, you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just a quick reminder, 20% off, promo code LOVEWINE.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we are going to move from sparkling rosé to still rosé.
Yay.
And this new wine, so we have Cambria down in Santa Maria Valley, southern Santa Barbara, and this is our Cambria Estate Winery, right? This is a winery super important to the Jacksons, the family that owns the company that we work for, and it's called Julia's Vineyard, another single vineyard wine. And we always talk about, Julia is the daughter of Jess Jackson and Barbara Benke, and you wouldn't name a vineyard after your daughter if it wasn't a vineyard that kicks butt, right? So this is fruit that is really well known, one of the better known vineyards down there, and it's 100% Pinot Noir. This is the first time I've had it. We've done some wine courses with you, so I would love to hear maybe one aroma or flavor that each of you are picking up, because we're all learning this wine together. Tracey as well, of course.
Yeah. But I love this because Amber always says she's new to this, and then she gets it like all
Yeah.
every time.
She's like,
Total
Barolo. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I'm getting like the sea.
Okay. Yeah. Salinity. Yes. And that is so common with
The
wines
pro.
in Santa Barbara.
Yes.
The soil that these grapes grow in is what we call diatomaceous earth, really long word for saying stuff at the seabed, right? Fossilized seashells. So you often get things that remind you of the ocean. You get a savory aspect. So once again, like Tracey said, Amber's on top of it.
Right on it.
Tanner, a flavor.
Let's see what you
What
see.
about for you?
I'm getting a lot of fruit sensations when I have it. I can totally see like the seashells and everything like that, but it almost feels like I'm on the beach and there's like a strawberry pasture or farm nearby, and it's just kind of blowing under my nose.
Nailed it.
It's
Nailed it.
underneath.
Here it is. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, right here. Here's that. You were smelling it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had busted out some strawberries. I knew it'd go well. I completely agree. A lot of really fresh strawberries.
Yes.
And of course, some really bright red fruit, but also like yummy peach, not overwhelming, like super juicy, but just like the skin of
Very
it. Really,
subtle.
really, really fresh.
Like a white peach.
Exactly. Oh, here she goes with the
Yeah. You're such a show off.
I'm from Georgia. I know all about peaches.
Love it.
No, that's great.
Yeah,
I love
and
what
so-
Tanner said about the strawberries.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's the first thing I thought of. I wasn't sure if I was gonna sound like a newbie being like, is there strawberries around?
No, I'm prepping for my Valentine's Day. I have, rosé, strawberries.
Yeah.
It's so fresh.
Ooh.
It's definitely a problem. It's a problem pairing when you got the fresh fruit and the wine because it's so light. And then next thing you know, it's like,
Carried
You're like-
away.
half the bottle and this fruit's not going to support. Yeah. So
I could imagine like chocolate covered strawberries
Oh,
would
yeah.
be perfect with it.
yes.
Sure.
And with
We love
that,
chocolate.
Tracey can speak much better to it, but that's when you can kind of geek out with the chocolate. And, with something like this, you don't want a chocolate that's super bitter. Maybe you want to go white chocolate, Trace. What do you think?
Yeah, I would definitely go white chocolate would definitely be a bitter. And so I love that you mentioned that too, because this one you guys do have an actual pairing in front of you to taste. And it's a good way. This is a local cheese called Foggy Morning from Nicasio Valley. And one of the elements that this cheese brings to the table would be the same thing as if you were having white chocolate on a strawberry. And it's a little bit of creaminess and texture on your palate. And I love that because when you drink this rosé, like you were saying, Tanner, it's got like this real brightness. And that's what you want from rosé, right? It hits you like, it's kind of similar to Sauvignon Blanc in the sense that it hits you on the side of your palate in a way that really brightens up your palate. It makes you want more, but it's a lot of like brightness. I always say brightness, and fruit. And that's what that does. And what's not there, and you're not missing it, but what's not there is a lot of like lusciousness, decadence, like you would get from a buttery Chardonnay. You're not missing that. You wouldn't even know you wanted it until all of a sudden you added that element in, like white chocolate with the strawberry, or in the sense that you guys are having a little bit of decadence with the cheese. All of a sudden it makes it this like, whoa, like I didn't know I wanted a little richness, but now that it's there, I really appreciate it. Yeah.
And this cheese just dissolves right in your mouth. It's so good.
Yep.
This cheese is lovely. Now I've given you guys the little jelly next to it. This is a fancy strawberry jelly. We call it gelée, French name, strawberry gelée. But really, if you do this at home, just get some strawberry jam, some like good local or homemade strawberry jam.
That'll work.
A little bite of that. So take a sip of the wine, or you could just take a sip of the wine, take a bite of the drink. You guys
I
are
still
good.
have half of it left.
We're really hungry.
You're good. Have another sip of the wine, and
All right, I'm gonna do it the right way this time.
Right? You'll see what happens. Like all of a sudden, like you've got the wine, you've got the cheese, you've got the strawberry, you've got the wine, and there's all this amazing stuff going on. Yeah.
Have you seen that scene in Ratatouille where he combines the ingredients and eats it, and there's like these little fireworks going off?
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's like what's happening to us right now.
Such a good movie.
It's a great movie.
There's so many different textures and all of this, and it feels like, it just feels well balanced. It's things that necessarily my palate wasn't expecting when I bit into the cheese, and then went back to the wine, and then back to the jelly, and back and forth and back and forth. But it just feels like my palate is being reset every single time I dive into something new.
You've said a few key things there. You mentioned texture, and earlier you said it felt like the cheese almost dissolved with flavor on your palate, right? These are two things that are light. Remember, when we talk about the weight of a wine, we'll see a little more heaviness when we move to the red, but think about what you're saying. The weight of it is very different than the flavor. So you have a rosé, which is light, and a cheese that is light, but they're both packed with flavor. And that's where the balance comes in that you mentioned, right? So you're noticing light texture, soft, but then you want more. And that's the wine's acidity cutting the cheese and telling you, I need more immediately, right? So both light, but they pack a punch. And that's what's great.
Yeah. Ooh. I think a lot of people don't think about texture when they talk about when you think about what you're tasting on the wine. People go straight to the fruit or tannins and textures a lot of the time omitted from the conversation. But wine one can have a lot of texture, but in a pairing, I think that's really important. When you involve food in a pairing with wine, I think that texture is really important because again, it just adds to the whole kind of complete of what's going on. Like I said, when you tasted this wine, you guys, neither of you said, oh, this wine's really good, but I wish it had more decadence or more texture. You didn't want, and that's great. Like we don't want you to want more from that. But again, once it's added in there, you're like, wow, there's this really interesting element that happens. And that's the whole point of a food and wine pairing is that balance of all of it, including texture, flavor, obviously.
It truly elevates the experience to a new level. I mean, drinking a bottle of wine with someone you love is something very special. Don't get me wrong, but when you add food to the mix, it really changes it to more of an experience.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's great. It's and you start talking about it, and then you start talking about feelings, then you're talking about like existential stuff, and it turns
What's
into a whole thing. Yeah.
And then the bottle's gone.
We'll just be talking to ourselves.
And then you're like, okay, let's open some red, right? And then we go to
You guys know me.
Speaking of,
you guys know me. I am a sucker for Pinot Noirs.
Well, this is Cabernet.
Cabernet.
Well, it's good you just had a rosé of Pinot Noir. I see what you did
Yeah,
there.
sorry.
You were right. You
Sorry.
were right. You were right.
It's long distance cousin.
But you know what's funny that you say that, Tanner, because this is one of those rare Cabernets. This is a mountain cab, and we'll talk about why that's so important. But this Cabernet is, compared to others in the area, actually lower in alcohol, which I think everyone associates Cabernet with being higher. So even though it's bigger, I can see in your glass how dark it is. It's, you know, alcohol wise, it's a lower, which is always nice. Yeah. Oh,
That means you can just drink more of it.
Exactly. You said what I was thinking.
All right. I'm ready to smell it. Here we go.
See, I don't even have to ask them to provide me
I
some
know.
characteristics. This
You
time
guys
I'm-
are such good
tell me what you
students.
got.
What are we getting?
Getting a lot of earth.
Love
a lot
it.
of
Now,
lot of earth.
When you say earth, are you talking forest floor? Are you talking herbaceous like thyme, rosemary? Are you talking funky like mushrooms? What are you talking?
I'm thinking forest floor for me. I might be completely off base here, but
Like a patch of grass.
yeah, I feel like I am
Moss.
in the Armstrong redwoods, just sitting
Mm.
on a blanket or something, just hanging out.
on a log.
Yeah.
I love that description because when you go on this property, and this is one of those properties that we were talking about is covered in snow right now, it reflects the things that grow there. There's a lot of bay leaf, a lot of different, and those things that you're saying, it is a forest. I mean, we're talking 5,500 acres that is, you know, no one, it's just the grapes and animals out there. So it really reflects the terroir that which in it grows within. So I think you nailed it. Amber?
I'm getting, correct me if I'm wrong, like it's fresh, but it's almost like minty. Like there's mint.
Love it. You guys are saying the same thing. You're talking eucalyptus.
Oh, eucalyptus.
Yeah, maybe a little menthol, even fennel that grows there. Probably not so
Menthol,
much what we would call like,
That's it.
yeah, like a medicine.
Okay.
Yeah, you're going more. Yeah, I love it. And I love that because usually with Cabernet, it's like Tracy said, you go fruit, tannin. We haven't even talked about that yet. This sucker's still opening up, right? So,
And have we even said what wine this is?
good point. Thank you, Tracy. What are we drinking, Tracy? We have the.
Are we drinking Stone Street Cab?
Yeah, we are. Yeah, so this is a really special, another estate wine. Like I said, 5,500 acres. We only plant less than 800 acres of it to maintain the integrity of the land itself, the wildlife that lives there. And, you know, we got the fourth generation of this family living on the mountain now. So,
Wow.
yeah, many more to come. So, you know, we want to talk Cabernet because we're talking Valentine's Day. Cabernet is a sexy red, goes with a lot of food. On Valentine's Day, you might be making your favorite dish. So we figured it's a good wine to talk about. Tracy, what do you think about when it comes to Cabernet and pairing it?
Yeah, I mean, Cabernet, right? A lot of people go Cabernet and beef, which is there's a reason for that. It goes really well. I find this to be a leaner cab. It's not as tannic. It's not as puckery on the finish. And so what I sent to you guys today is filet. And the reason I chose filet is because there's less fat in that cut. And I don't think this wine needs, you know, when you have a Cabernet that's got this really big kind of tannic finish, you want more fat in your filet because they cut each other. The fat kind of, you don't need that as much with this wine. I mean, it's a little bit softer. Like Ben was saying, it's sexy, it's elegant. So I gave you filet, which is a much more tender, same thing, kind of sexier cut. I think that it's a lot of go-to for people. But the cool thing about this recipe is that it's filet that's roasted and kind of with onions and shallots, and then finished with a red wine glaze with something called Maggi seasoning. Maggi, it's not that uncommon of a sauce. It's actually, you can get it in Safeway. It's almost like Worcestershire and beef bouillon in one. So it's got a ton of umami and a lot of flavor. So you need just a tiny bit of it. But it's one of those kind of chef's secret special ingredients to add into something like this. Like if you're making beef stew, you add a splash of that. It just the flavor on it and makes it really this intense. So when you get a single bite, it's a pretty intense bite in a good way.
Yeah.
Tracy, this is the best thing I've ever had.
Oh,
I love that.
It's all good.
Amber, this is a recipe, and we've talked about this. I'm co-author of a cookbook, seasoned cookbook, and this is a recipe from that cookbook. I'm sure I have one around here somewhere. I can tell you.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have my fiance make this for me.
Oh, nice.
I don't know where it went.
Yeah.
I can't cook, so.
So sorry we had to twist your arms and give you some filet.
I know.
Oh, I know, right? I love that Tracey said that, it's sexy and elegant, because I feel sexy and elegant when I have this.
Yeah.
What I love about this is that the flavor itself, it's such a direct feeling when I have it. It's light, it's airy, which typically with cabs, I know that's not necessarily the case all the time.
Right. I mean, you nailed it. And what Tracey said is so spot on, because it's easy to say, sure, red wine with beef. If you like the wine and you like the beef, you're going to do fine. You're going to be happy, but you can really get nitty gritty with it. And once you understand that this Cabernet is not maybe what people think of as like, this is Sonoma County. Most people around here think like classic Napa Cab, just bigger, more tan. This is not that, right? I mean, we talked about flavors and we're talking about herbaceous and, eucalyptus, and it's a very, very unique Cabernet Sauvignon. And so when you understand that it has tannin, but it's not this big, hammer.
Yeah.
So Trace knocked it out the park. I guess mine didn't arrive. I'll just keep on eating strawberries. What do you guys, what's the pairing for you? Are you seeing, like, I'm sure the bite by itself is great. Do you notice more flavors coming out? Do you notice sort of the wine cutting that dryness that you're left? How's the experience for you two?
Tanner poured himself another glass. He likes it so much.
I love it.
So here we are.
Happy Thursday!
I'm gonna pour myself a third, actually.
I'm gonna have to drive home. No,
my son would
fantastic.
say TGIT. Thank goodness it's Thursday. Whatever. I actually never know what that means for him, but for Tanner now I know TGIT. It's Thursday. Time to wine.
Hey, Thursday is like my favorite day. You can ask Tanner.
Absolutely.
I'm like, Thursday, because Fridays are crazy. But that's the thing. Like, this wine is so light, and I feel like you're not gonna feel as like heavy the next morning. So maybe you can drink this on a Thursday night.
Yeah.
And not wake up in the morning feeling like, you got hit by a train.
Totally. I mean, there are some cabs where you feel like you need water right after, you need to lay down, and it's just, maybe it's young, or just, depending on the bottle, maybe you need to breathe a little bit. But this is totally, I love, this is a wine that, first off, I mean, it gets incredible accolades. It has, great tradition to it, but at the same time, so, wine aficionados love it. But if you're just getting into wine and maybe you're not, cabs, for people that aren't used to wine, can be big. This is a nice little gateway drug into Cabernet Sauvignons, right? It's a really nice one. It's a really nice cab, but I mean, this can help people that aren't so used to tannins and bigger flavors for sure. And I mean, you could even, Tracey, you could pair, you don't have to do it with the beef. I mean, this wine's so versatile. What are some other things?
I was just going to say, Ben, I was actually just going to say, don't get pigeonholed into the cab and beef. I mean, like I said, it's delicious, but this really well with like a grilled pork loin. Like lamb chops, right? Fat and flavor. Like this wine is a really, really great food wine. It's got wonderful versatility, and I think it would go well. Even this wine could even pair up something like a hearty fish, like swordfish that's got like a coffee crust or something on it. Lemon butter.
Wow.
I think that that's a lot of things. I talk about this a lot with food pairings recently. It's not just about, everyone was always taught that tried and true rule of like fish with white, beef with red. Those rules doesn't exist. I think that, yes, there are some things, like I probably wouldn't eat crab with this wine, but let's say I had something like I said, a swordfish, which is a meatier, heartier fish that you can grill and you can put a real heavy, like crusted rub on it. That makes a huge difference, right? That could go well with this cab. What you serve with, how you prepare your food and what you serve it with very much will adapt, or you can adapt that to what you want to drink with your dish too. And so I always tell people, don't get caught up in all those rules. Like, there's adaptations, but really, or I should say really just one rule to follow. And I know we've talked about this with you guys before, is just also drink what you love with what you want to eat. We're here giving you suggestions, and it's part of what we do. And so we'd like to think that we're leading you down the right path. But if you want to have something that I wouldn't pair with Cabernet, but you really love it, more power to you. As long as you're drinking our wine, go for it.
Exactly. Now I want to try something with you guys. Tanner, you might have to pour yourself a fourth glass, but give this wine Give this wine a couple more smells because the fruit's starting to come out, but I'm really getting like, there's like a graphite, think like pencil lead and like chocolatey, but really another thing that's standing out, I call it bloody. I know it's not the most attractive description, but it's more like a tomato plant. If you know that the tomato leaf, if you know that smell. Tracy, would you do pasta with red sauce, red meat sauce with this wine?
Yeah.
Hell
Yeah, like a nice braised ragu style. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
What I absolutely adore about this pairing is, I don't know if I'm just drinking cabs that aren't great quality, but typically when I drink cabs, I can like feel it almost coating my cheeks in a way. Yeah. But that's not the case with this. I mean, everything feels so light, especially with this lean beef that you provided, Tracy. It just feels so light. Yeah. Typically, when people have meat, you know, there's the joke, I'm going to get the meat sweats, you know, but that's not the case with this at all. It feels light, and I think it's perfect for Valentine's Day.
Perfect. Well, Tanner, I don't know what wines you're drinking if you're not good quality cabs, but you know where you can get good quality cabs and any wine. Or .com.
And with that Love Wine discount. And you nailed it, Tanner. You know, that's the tannin you're referring to. And that's why that's what's cool about this wine. You can drink it young, but it's mountain cab. It's powerful. You can age it well, right? So you jump on your wine store, get a few of them with the 20% discount. You can have one in a couple of weeks for Valentine's Day, and then you could have it next year for Valentine's Day and the year after that. And it's going to do great for decades, really. But that's what's nice compared to some other wines that the tannins are so strong. You have to wait, and we don't have time to wait. You guys said it. We got flash flood warnings, we got fires, we got winds, we got earthquakes. Let's pop it.
Yeah.
And speaking of Valentine's Day, my fiance promised me that he would make bolognese for me. It's like one of my favorite things that he makes. He spends so much time, puts a lot of love into it. So which of these wines from yourwinestore.com could I get to go with that beef bolognese with spaghetti and maybe a little garlic bread, probably a lot of garlic bread?
I mean, Tracy can speak to all. I mean, I have Your Wine Store open right here. So I'm just looking, and like, obviously Stone Street, something like, I'm just looking at all the wines we have available right now. Freemark Abbey, Cab, and Merlot. I mean, we even have, Chateau Le Seigle, which is, you know, French red blend. We have a lot of stuff. Trace, what do you lean to when you hear something?
You have Your Wine Store open. I mean, we even have some international brands, like there might be some Tenuta Arceno on there, some Chianti. I mean, if you're going in that, you know, exactly that good Italian food, that would be a route I would go.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean,
awesome.
I'm looking on it. Not only do we have new releases, but we're also showing the wines that are scoring over 90 points. And I mean, we have Brewer Clifton, which is a Pinot, but you know, some bigger Pinots can go with bigger proteins. He just was awarded Winemaker of the Year by Wine Enthusiast, right? So everyone's looking for those bottles. Yourwinestore.com with the Love Wine, you can get it at a discount, which is pretty cool.
20% off.
Use the promo code Love Wine.
So the other cool, I have to say this too about Your Wine Store. I mean, we're so spoiled, but one of the great things too is that you can mix and match. So you can create your own case. You're not committed to buying 6 or 12 bottles of a single wine. You can pick, you know, this rosé, you know, a rosé from Cambria. You can get everything we tasted today plus more, and you can create your own kind of pack, which is also a really, really cool, you know, unique opportunity to be able to try so many different wines. My mom loves Cabernet, and so for Christmas, I bought her a 12 pack of 12 different cabs, so she could like try 12 different Cabernets and really then from there decide which one she liked. So then when she wants to buy more, she could go back and remember.
That's awesome.
Wow.
I'm a good daughter, huh?
The best, in fact.
Maybe one day if I were to have a daughter, I hope she turns out like Tracy.
Yeah, I do too.
Again, me too.
Wine store. Yeah, that's for sure. Again, yourwinestore.com. If you use promo code Love Wine, you get 20% off right now. Guys, we really appreciate your time today.
You guys are so much fun.
You guys are too. I was just about to say that. You're incredibly knowledgeable. And if, Tracy, I know you have a cookbook. Ben, I know you do the tastings and things like that. So where could people find you, connect with you? What are some ways we could promote you?
Well, thank you for asking that. I wanted to mention too, now that the shelter in place has been lifted, we are open for, you know, safe distance, you know, tastings So at the Kendall Jackson Wine Center, I'm in my little office closet right now, but that's where our main kitchen is. And we've got a beautiful large property. We're open for tastings and wine and food pairings, cheese and charcuterie boards. At La Crema at Sara Lee's, same thing, beautiful outdoor patio. Stone Street, one of the wines you had today, they're open. All of our locations in Sonoma and Napa are open now to the public to be sitting outside. We've got umbrellas, we've got heaters. So we're ready to see. And we're anxious to see people again. We want to see people, and we want to, feed you food and give you wine. So you can come see us. I'm usually at the wine center. Ben is all around, spends a lot of time at La Crema at Sara Lee's.
Well, we're so excited.
Yeah. I mean, the last 6 months we've dedicated, winemakers, it's been business as usual. It's been great for them. They're out in the vineyards, no one's bothering them. But for what we call our DTC, our direct to consumer, our tasting rooms, we've been dedicating to understanding how to provide the same, if not better experience while being very sensitive to COVID and people feeling safe. Absolutely. So yeah, I mean, from the heaters to protective glass to, everything you need to feel like you're at your home, away from home. You can put your feet up, have some rosé, some sparkling, some Cabernet, some Pinot like you like. That's what we're going for. So we're open. We would love to see people. If you just want to stick at home, we totally understand. We'll see you at yourwinestore.com with that all caps love wine for that 20% discount. And we miss you guys too. We love doing this like once a week with y'all.
This is fun.
I would be so excited to do that. Again, right, guys.
Let's do it. Let's make it a regular.
Yeah. I'm in.
It's all the wine talking, isn't it?
Yeah. Now that
love you guys.
I'm 4 cabs deep.
Well, thank you guys so much. We really appreciate the opportunity to talk a little bit about your wine store, and it's always fun to enjoy wine with you guys.